Hey there. Well, it's Tuesday and I'm about to be attacked by a poppy, I think. Um, Apologize for my appearance, y'all, but I have been sweating like crazy today. It's been a very busy day for me. I got up this morning and I had planned to go over to see about getting my tube changed on my bike tire. When I first got up and I looked outside, I was like, oh no. It was like really ominous looking outside. And I was like, great. And then I no more got up until it started raining really hard. But it didn't really last for that long. And um, it eventually stopped. So I was like, well, maybe once I get around and, get a few things done or whatever, I'll just, go over there. I just thought I'd give it a little time, just kind of check, see how the weather was doing. So eventually I did take my bike up to that place. And when I got there, it was like there were all these scooters sitting outside, but no worker. But I went inside and the guy was like, there was only one guy apparently working and he was on a lunch break. So he said to come back in like an hour. Well, I went and did some things, while I was waiting and ended up coming back home because I had picked up a few things and I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this stuff off because I needed to refrigerate a couple of things. So I came home to put my stuff away and I no more got home until it started raining again. And I was like, are you serious? It literally started raining like 10 minutes before I was supposed to be back up there to, get the guy to look at my tire. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just hang around here a little while longer, and see what happens. Um, Boy, that's annoying. This little wing that I've got on the side. Oh my God. But anyway, so I was kind of waiting to see what the weather was going to do. I was thinking, well, if it keeps raining, I guess I'll just go up there in the morning. Well, eventually it stopped. And, it was maybe like an hour and a half or something after was supposed to go over there to get the guy to look at it. So I go back over there, and the guy was working. The one guy that was there, he was actually working. And there was some other people waiting. And I went and asked, and they were like, we only have one person, and there's like all these other people in front of you. So they suggested that I go down to this other place down the road. So I was like, okay. So I went down to this other place, which is like a dealership kind of a place where they sell scooters and stuff. Speaking of scooters. And so I'm like pulling up on the bike and I hear somebody say hello to me and I look over and it was my landlady. She was there. And I guess that the girl across the street, Slim's owner, the female, she was working there. I was like, I had no idea that she worked at this place. But anyway, so they took my bike right in to go do it. I gave them the inner tube that I bought and asked them to also check my brake because I was telling you that my brakes just ain't right. So I had them look at that too, whatever. And fortunately, it really didn't take them that long because there was quite a few people working there. It was a number of people at that place. So they changed the tube on the bike tire and did do some brake adjustment, but I think I'm still having some trouble with that one, whichever one it is. I think it's the front brake. Yeah, it's the front brake that's just not, it's like when you squeeze on it, it just doesn't really want to stop you have to squeeze for like a long time before it starts to stop. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. When I was trying to explain which brake it was. I was telling someone else that told them to check it or whatever, so I'm not sure. They may have checked the opposite one because I saw them when they were checking. It looked like they were checking the opposite one, but I don't know. They may have checked both. Whatever the case, it was like they did all of that. I mean, it was like a big, lengthy process to take off that back tire because, you know, it's got the chain on it. It's got my kickstand on it, which the kickstand that I have is not the typical like one piece that you just, you know, kick down and it kind of leans to the side. No, this one goes on both sides and underneath the tire. So when you put the kickstand up, your whole back tire is lifted up off the ground. It doesn't stay on the ground. It's lifted up and the bike's sitting upright like this, not leaning. I love that kickstand. That is like the most brilliant freaking kickstand I've ever seen in my life. I love it. So anyway, but you know, it's a big old huge ordeal to take that thing off and do all that stuff. And all that they did, putting the new inner tube in there, checking the brakes and adjusting it and whatever, $2. $2, y'all. I mean, seriously. I was expecting it to be more since it was a freaking, you know, dealership type place. I really did. I thought, you know, well, I'm probably going to pay more here than I did at the other place. But honestly, I think it's either the same or maybe even a little less. And I don't think that it's had anything to do with, you know, me, you know, and my landlady being there, whatever. You know, I don't think it had anything to do with that. I mean, that's just what they charge. Because, I mean, it's like, wasn't a big deal, I guess, to them. But whenever I was looking at my tire later, I was looking at it and going, I need a new tire. I didn't even notice it before, but I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, that tread is like really worn down on that back tire, more than likely because I put so much stuff in that back basket, you know, when I'm shopping, and I've got all this heavy stuff like bags of cat litter and things like that that puts a lot of weight plus all my weight. We don't even talk about that. You know, all my weight plus all the weight of cat litter and, you know, whatever kind of grocery stuff I've got and whatever. So that back tire is just really worn down. And so I'm like thinking now, okay, I just had that done. But now after looking at it closer, I really think I should consider getting a new tire and going back over there again and saying, sorry, y'all, can you do this? I might wait a little bit, maybe a week or something, but but yeah, I think I definitely need to get me a new tire because, I mean, I was looking at it compared to the front tire, and it's like a world of difference. And both of those tires were put on at the same time because right after I bought the bike, I did get different tires for it because the ones that were on there, I didn't really like them that much because I like a really nice thick tread. And the ones that were on there didn't have, you know, a very thick tread on it or anything. So I went and bought new ones. And so they were both installed at the same time, but they've definitely not worn down the same. So I'm like, okay, I guess I better start looking at bike tires. God. And look at this, y'all. This thing is freaking huge. After I got the tire done, I went back over to the thrift shop place that was just right down the road and picked this up because originally I was thinking I was going to get me a new dish drainer that has a lid because now Poppy has gotten to where he knows how to jump up here on the counter now. And I'm like, oh, Poppy, because he's like wanting to wander around and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, great. And I really probably should have gotten one with a lid, but they didn't have any at that thrift shop that I went to, but they had this. And I was thinking, well, this might be good because when I've got pots and pans, I mean, I'm really good at stacking things. I mean, I can have like a little dish drainer, because my dish drainer I had was like this little tiny thing. And I could have dishes, glasses, silverware, pots, pans, all kinds of stuff just stacked up on there. I'm really good at that. I think I've got some dirt on my arm, y'all. I was out there cleaning my bike after they changed the inner tube. I was cleaning the bike because they didn't wipe it down or anything. There was grease everywhere, all over my seat. Thankfully, I was wearing dark blue shorts today because there was grease on the seat, grease all over my rims and everything. It was just covered in grease. But they did do a good job. So, and for $2, I mean, I'm not going to complain. But anyway, I was out there cleaning, and I think I managed to get grease on my arm. But anyway, I picked that thing up because I was really, the dish drainer I have is small, and I was thinking, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a little bit bigger one. But this thing, I had to put it like sideways because I was going to have it the other way, and so that it would, drain down into the sink and everything. But this thing is like way too wide, and so it just didn't work. So I had to do it that way, and it still doesn't really work. I mean, you can see like right here, that's not even over the part that drains down in the sink. So what I ended up doing was I took that bottom pan part from the other dish drainer that I had, and I stuck it up under there so it would collect the water from, the dishes I've got up there. Y'all, you know what? It's too dark on here now because the sun's going down. And so it's like I'm starting to look pretty dark over here because I got no light on up here. Let me turn this light on real quick. Hang on one second. I don't know if that's going to help much, but it might. Oh, I look really red again. It really just depends on where you go. See, I can change from like somewhat normal looking to red. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, I'm just trying to change up the scenery a little bit once in a while, so it's not the same thing every single time. But let me tell you about what's been going on since the middle of the night. Last night, I woke up because it sounded like somebody was outside the door, like scratching and beating on the outside of my door. I mean, I was freaking out because I was like, what in the hell? I mean, I literally was thinking, this sounds like one of those zombie games or something where the zombies are like, oh, like beating on the door and scratching on the windows and doors and stuff. I was like, what in the world? And Oscar was freaking out, and then Poppy started freaking out, and we were all in here going, what in the heck is that? And I didn't know what was going on. And then eventually, because I was awake at this point, going, what in the heck? And I wasn't about to open up that dang door back there because I'm like, I don't know what's on the other side of that door, and I ain't about to open it. It's like, forget that. So I'm over here trying to look out the windows and stuff, and I'm not seeing anything. And then I started hearing more noise and realized it was coming from up in the ceiling. And I was like, what in the heck is that? Y'all, I don't like this red look. Anyway, I was like, what in the world is that going on up there? Because it was just loud, and the cats were just completely freaking out. And I'm thinking, I know it's got to be an animal of some sort, but what the heck is it? Because it sounded big. I mean, whatever this was, it sounded like a large-sized something. It didn't sound like a mouse or something running around. I mean, that would have been just like a little, This was loud. And I mean, you would hear booms, like, all of a sudden it'd be like, boom noise. And I'm going, what in the heck? And this went on like all night long. And it's been going on all day long. And I mean all day long. It has sounded like somebody was building a house up in the ceiling or something. I mean, bang, 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 all this noise. And this is just a house. There's no upstairs. I don't have neighbors upstairs or anything. I've just got a ceiling and a roof. you know, and there's like a little space up there, you know, between the ceiling and the roof, you know, like a little area that you know, the workers need to come in and do something with wiring and stuff. And that's what's got me paranoid. Y'all, this dang light is getting on my nerves. That's what's got me paranoid, because whatever this animal is up there, I hope it doesn't start like munching down on my internet cables and any wiring and stuff that's up in there, because I mean, there's probably my electrical and all that stuff is probably, you know, all going around up in the thing. And I did tell my landlady about it when I saw her up there at that place. I was like, yeah, there's something in my ceiling that's like, you know, bang, 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 and it sounds like it's digging and all this kind of stuff. And she was like saying that she thought it was like a, you know, a mouse or a rat or something, which, you know, it could be. But just a little while ago, I was hearing all this noise. And I mean, I was sitting here and all of a sudden I heard this loud boom sound that sounded like somebody throwing a body on the freaking floor or something, you know, up there. I was like, good God, what in the world now? And then it was like a little bit later, I started hearing like this little cheepy chip, some kind of, it sounds like there's babies up there of some sort. So I don't know if it's like, I couldn't tell. It kind of sounded like a bird, but it kind of didn't sound like a bird. And so I'm not really sure what it is, but whatever it is, I think it's had babies up there. And it's like right above where there's like an opening, like, see that? I don't know if you can see it. In that corner up there, there's like a place that you can, you know, push that up and go up in the ceiling area. And earlier when it was making all that noise, I was like taking the broom handle and going like that and moving it up and down, because it was like right in there. And it didn't stop them. It didn't matter if I was banging on that or nothing. They just were like still going on, doing whatever they were doing. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know. I don't know what it is that's made a home up in there. But I'm not real thrilled, because it's like, oh man, I mean, that was so noisy last night. And it kept me awake almost all night long. And if they do it again tonight, then it's going to be another night of being awake all night long. All right, I'm just going to look red, I suppose. It's really annoying. But anyway, so I'm not sure what to do about that. I mean, you know, termite people have never shown up. Nothing's been done about the termites. And this is not termites. I mean, it's clearly something much bigger than a termite up there. But termite things still haven't been taken care of, and I've still got a leaky toilet, even though the guy did eventually 2 months later come out to fix the toilet. It still leaks. But yeah, I know, Oscar. What? I hear you. You want to say hi? Want to say hi? No? All right, well, whatever. So, yeah. But other than that, I mean, you know, it was a pretty decent day. I did, you know, go out again on my bike. I went up to this little thrift store place, you know, after I'd gotten the tire fixed and everything. I mean, at first I was thinking maybe I would just wait, because when I first got up this morning, I checked my tire and I'm like, you know, it still feels like it's pretty full of air. So maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's okay. But then when I rode it out, it was like lost a lot of air, like really quickly. And I'm like, no, I've got to get this done. So I'm glad I did. And I mean, knock on wood, I hate to say anything because I don't want to jinx it. But it seems like whatever they did when they fixed that tire, and, you know, I guess when they were adjusting the chain and everything, putting it back on there, it may have fixed that little clinky clunky sound that I was hearing, that I was like paranoid that it might be the bottom bracket again, which it shouldn't be. But it seems like that might have been fixed, but I don't want, you know, tomorrow I'll probably come back and say, well, no, you know, guess what, it's doing it again. Hopefully not, but anyway. But at least my bike is riding better at the moment. The back brake is really good. The front one, not so much. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I definitely need to get that fixed. Do need to get another tire because the tread's just really worn off. It's just very slick back there. I'm starting to hear noises again. Not quite as much as earlier. Earlier, it was just nonstop. So anyway, but I think that was all I was going to really talk about. I did buy myself a piece of cheesecake that I was going to have for my 100th vlog, but they didn't have any. Well, they had one piece of the cheesecake with the blueberry topping on it today, so I got it at the 7-Eleven, and they've gotten so much smaller. I mean, these things were really small to begin with. Now, I mean, it's like literally like this big. It's this little itty bitty thing, very, very small. So when I say I had a piece of cheesecake, it was more like a sample, but it was good. I mean, they do actually sell decent cheesecake at the 7-Eleven. I just wish it were a little bit bigger because it's very, I mean, it's like really like this, you know. It's like this little itty bitty thing, but it was tasty. So I decided, well, since I didn't get my cheesecake for my celebration, I'd go ahead and do it now. No eggs from Hattie today. I did see her, though. She was out here. This morning, I thought she was going to go up in there and lay another egg in my bike basket, but because she was hanging around out there, all of them. They were all out there hanging around like they usually do before she does that, but but she never did. But that's all right. I mean, she was so kind to give me 4 eggs last week that, you know, I'm so appreciative of that. And I finished off my deviled egg sandwiches that I made with those eggs that she left me. So, you know, if she does give me some more, I'll find some other uses for them. I'm not a big egg eater. I don't really eat a lot of eggs. Usually I use them in things like, you know, a cake recipe or something that requires eggs, but I don't really eat them very often. But if she's going to give them to me as gifts, I'm going to use them. I will find ways to use them because I'm not going to, you know, I just think it's precious. I really do. So anyway, y'all, I've gone on for 23 minutes. Oh my God. I had no idea I'd talk that long. So I guess I'll let y'all go and get on with your lives. And I appreciate you sitting here and listening to me. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. So have a good one, everybody. And I will see you later.